The film starts with a girl named Tree, who wakes up in the room of an unknown boy in the boys' hostel. When her phone starts to ring, we come to know that today is Tree's birthday. Her dad was constantly calling Tree, but she didn't even answer his call. This room was actually the home of a boy named Carter, whom Tree didn't even know. She gets up and asks Carter for a headache pill. She felt that maybe when she was very drunk at night, Carter must have taken advantage of her. Anyway, she came out of Carter's room. When she came out, she meets a boy in the hallway who likes her and start asking where have you been, on which she completely ignores him. For not having any interest in him. Then Tree came back to her girls' hostel. As soon as she comes, Tree's group leader asks her, "Where were you last night?" But Tree doesn't tell her anything. Then her roommate, whose name was Lori, made a cupcake for Tree's birthday. But Tree puts the cupcake in the trash without eating it. Tree was not a good girl. She doesn't care about other people's feelings. After this, they all go to college, where their meeting is going on. When a girl came to her with a chocolate shake, her group leader scolded her because, in her eyes, this food was not good for her health. When the girl was leaving this table, she bumped into Carter on the way. Carter was also a student at her college. He came to return Tree's bracelet, which was left in his room last night. But Tree tells Carter to go away from there so that no one knows about last night that she stayed in Carter's room. Then she goes to her college's hospital campus, where she has to meet her professor's doctor, with whom Tree's affair is going on. Then the doctor's wife also comes there, in front of whom they pretend to be normal. Tree left from there. At the same time, Tree's roommate, Lori, is also there. She says, "Look, don't get trapped in such a doctor's affair." But Tree didn't care about these things. When she goes back to her hostel, the group leader of Tree tells her that we have to go to the party this evening. Tree got ready and was going to the party on the way to the hostel. Then we see that her dad's call also keeps coming to her, which she does not pick up. A little ahead, she finds a toy lying on the road, in which birthday music was playing. When she goes to see it, Tree finds a man standing, who was wearing a baby mask and was staring at Tree for a long time. When Tree threatens him with the police, he leaves from there. But suddenly, he came from behind and attacked Tree. He stabs Tree in the stomach, which causes Tree's death there. And then Tree's sleep suddenly opens in the boys' hostel, where we had seen Tree before. This room was for Carter. When Tree saw this, her dad's call was also coming. The Tree was now confused. She was feeling like she might have had a bad dream. But this time she knew about Carter and where she had kept the headache pill. When Tree comes out, like before, a boy was flirting with her, and then that boy meets Tree. Everything was going exactly the way he liked, as it had happened with Tree before. But she didn't remember anything. When she goes to her hostel, like before, Lori brings a cupcake for her, which Tree left for college without eating this time. She sees a baby mask lying next to her, which she had seen on the face of the killer last night. She doesn't understand anything about what was going on with her. Carter also comes to return her bracelet. She goes to her hostel to tell her about her condition, but the doctor doesn't pay attention to anything. In the evening, when Tree leaves for the party again, she sees a toy lying on the road, where the music of Happy Birthday is playing. This time she didn't go to that toy and changed her way, after which she reached the place where the party was going on. As soon as she opens the door, she sees a person wearing that same baby mask. Tree punched him in the face, after which lights gets turned on. Actually, Tree's friends had arranged a surprise birthday party for her. Then he comes to meet Tree, who was wearing a mask. He was taking a little more interest in Tree, but that boy started liking Tree's group leader. Tree also likes that boy a little. She goes to that boy's room, and he comes in front of her. Then he plays loud music and starts dancing strangely. Then the real killer comes there. He first ends that boy, and then he attacks Tree. He takes a piece of glass and ends Tree, after which she wakes up again in Carter's room. Now she was very upset. Today was her birthday. Here we find out that Tree was actually trapped in a time loop. The time loop will be reset again. That's why all this was happening to her again and again. It was his happy birthday and happy death day. When Tree comes out, the same thing happens to him that happened to him before. She quickly reaches her hostel and tells her roommate, Lori. But she didn't believe these things. Now to make her believe all this, after listening to all this, it seemed that Tree was sick. She tells Tree to stay at home and rest tonight. Tree also does the same. She had closed all the windows and doors, and when she was about to eat the cupcake made by Lori, she felt a little uneasy when she took the weapon and walked towards the door. But this time the killer attacked her from behind and stabbed her. The Tree was also in a lot of pain. She comes out and starts looking at everyone here and there, because of which she was dizzy. Later Carter comes to her with her stuff. She hugged Carter, started crying, and asked him for help. She tells him everything. After hearing everything, Carter says you are stuck in a time loop, and you will not come out until you catch your real killer. He starts making a list of who wants to kill you. Carter also tells Tree that when you came to my room in a state of intoxication, I went to my friend's room and slept there. I didn't do anything wrong with you. Here, Tree finds out that Carter is a good boy, but Carter tells Tree that there are countless opportunities in your life to catch your eye. You have unlimited life with the help of a time loop. She makes a list of people who could have ended up with him. First of all, she gives the name of the boy to Carter, who was killed by the killer in the party. Then she keeps an eye on the boy who liked Tree. But she sees that the boy himself is a gay. Then the killer comes from behind and ends the Tree again. In this way, time is reset again. The second time, Tree now keeps an eye on the doctor's wife, and her group leader. She thinks that one of them is the killer. That's why she falls on the road, fighting her. And suddenly, a truck came and crushed them both. And in this way, Tree had found out about all the people one by one. But she had not found the killer yet. The next morning, when Tree came out of her hostel alive again, this time she was not wearing clothes, which everyone was surprised to see. Here, Tree knew that she would die in the evening and everyone would forget everything. Later, in the evening, the killer ends the Tree again. After that, the time is reset again. She wakes up in Carter's room. Tree gets very weak with every death. She can't even walk. Carter takes her to the hospital, where the doctor tells Tree in the X-ray that you have so many wounds in your body that you should have died by now. Tree understands here that time is undoubtedly reset, but the more she dies, maybe one day she will die because of this. Tree was now suspicious of the doctor, so she ran away from the hospital. But then the killer came there and ended the doctor right in front of her eyes. After that he runs after Tree. Tree came to the parking area and ran away with a car. She was very happy here that she gave the death a glimpse. Later a policeman stops her car. Tree thinks that she has no safe place beside going to jail. So she tells the policeman that I have been doing drugs. Arrest me. When she was sitting in his car, a car came and hit the policeman who was the killer. Now the killer drops the burning candle on the road because the petrol of the car had fallen there, which caused a fire there and a blast in the car. The time was reset again. She again opened her eyes in Carter's room. This time, she didn't care. On her way to the cafe, she tells Carter that the couple will get wet by the water, and this person will faint suddenly. While sitting in the cafe, Trey tells Carter that my and my mom's birthdays come on the same day. But 3 years ago, my mom died. And that's why I don't like this day at all. Meanwhile, Trey keeps ignoring her dad's calls. On the news, a picture of the serial killer has been shown, who has killed a lot of innocent people. His treatment was going on their hospital campus. Trey thinks that he is the killer. She goes to the hospital and finds out he was missing from his room. He had also terminated the security guard. Then he comes from behind and attacks Tree. But Tree ran away from the bullets from his gun. This time, the killer also took off his mask. Tree had found out who the killer was. When Carter came to save him, the killer broke Carter's neck and ended him too. Tree runs away, gets locked in a room, comes from behind, and attacks the killer. But Tree thinks here that if she doesn't die today, time won't reset, and she will lose Carter forever. That's why she runs to the top of the tower and hangs herself from the bell rope and died again, after which time starts again. She wakes up in Carter's room, where she is very happy to see Carter alive. This time, there was no place for her happiness. She now goes to the hostel and apologizes to Lori because she didn't treat him well. She also ended her affair with the doctor. After that, she eats with her dad and apologizes to him, saying that she had been ignoring him for a long time. In the evening, she was ready to fight her killer. She goes to the hospital, where she tells him to go with a gun on security so that he can call the police at the right time. She was about to shoot him directly, but the safety of the gun was on, due to which the bullet did not shoot. Then that man catches Tree and beats him a lot. The lights were also off. Now, Tree approaches from behind and shoots the killer from whom he died there. In the night, she and Carter celebrate his birthday. She slept after eating the cupcake made by Lori. But what was this? If she had found the real killer, she should have come out of the time loop. But she was still stuck in the time loop. This meant that she had not found the real killer yet. So she quickly goes to her hostel and starts packing her clothes. She tells Lori that I am leaving this city. Lori brings a cupcake for her, which she sees and refuses to eat. And remembered that she ate it last night. Then Tree understands that yesterday she died in her sleep. And the real killer is no one else but the girl who lives with her, Lori. She thinks that all the other days, when Lori brought a cupcake for her when the time was reset, she did not eat that cake because of which Lori tried to end her wearing a mask. And she was the nurse of that man, whom Tree ended as his killer. That's why she put on her mask and clothes so that Tree felt that the killer was the same man and was always with her. Anyway, Tree tells Lori to eat her cupcake, but she doesn't do that. Lori was surprised at how Tree came to know about it. When Tree was about to leave, Lori grabbed him from behind with her hair. Here, her real face came in front of the Tree. She wanted to end Tree because she liked the same doctor who was behind Tree. This was the reason she wanted to end Tree. After a long fight, Tree puts the cupcake made by Lori in her mouth and proceeds to push her out of the window. Finally, she ended the real killer. Now, we see Tree and Carter, where Carter is telling her to stay with him. The next day had begun. Tree finally came out of her death loop. She looked very happy with Carter and have fun. In the final scenes a quote is shown, which says today is the first day of the rest of your life. Thanks for joining our cinematic journey on Review Time. If you enjoyed our movie recaps, reviews, and quick insights, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, and join the conversation in the comments below. Until next time, happy watching.